The stadium lights plunged into a deep, heavy darkness, and for a fleeting second, Brussels became completely silent. The sheer weight of thousands of hearts holding their breaths simultaneously created an electric current in the air, a collective anticipation that pulsed through the damp European night. Then, the first haunting, isolated notes of the intro cut through the chill, a melancholic echo that immediately shattered the quiet and sent an absolute shockwave of sound rippling across the arena. This was the second night of the Arirang World Tour in Belgium, a moment that fans had been counting down to for months, yet nothing could truly prepare them for the emotional gravity of what was about to unfold. As the familiar, pulsing bass line of Fake Love began to reverberate through the floorboards, shaking the very foundation of the venue, a sea of glowing light sticks flared to life, casting an ethereal, undulating ocean of purple across the stadium. The atmosphere shifted instantly from eager excitement to something deeply intimate, almost sacred, as if every single person in that massive crowd had just stepped into a shared dream. As the members materialized on stage through a shroud of dramatic mist and piercing blue spotlights, their presence felt larger than life, yet intensely raw and vulnerable. The choreography began not just as a set of rehearsed movements, but as a violent, poetic expression of heartbreak, every sharp angle and fluid extension telling a story of giving everything to someone only to realize it was built on a beautiful lie. You could see the sheer intensity in their eyes even from the furthest rows, a total immersion into the pain of the song that felt less like a performance and more like a visceral confession. The contrast between the cold, massive scale of the European stadium and the deeply personal, agonizing emotion pouring from the stage created a gripping tension that held the audience captive. Every gesture, from the desperate reaching of hands to the heavy, synchronized thuds of their boots against the stage, resonated like a heartbeat, pulling the viewers deeper into a narrative of losing oneself in the pursuit of a flawless, artificial love. The true magic of Day 2 in Brussels lay in the profound, unspoken dialogue between the stage and the crowd, a symbiotic connection that grew more intense with every passing second. When the iconic chorus hit, it wasn't just the members singing, it was an overwhelming, thunderous chorus of thousands of voices echoing the lyrics back in perfect unison, their Korean pronunciation flawless, carried by an emotional weight that transcended any language barrier. Tears glistened on the faces of fans in the front rows, illuminated by the flashing strobe lights, their expressions a mix of awe and a deep, personal understanding of the sorrow embedded in the melody. It became vividly clear that this wasn't merely a pop concert, but a collective catharsis, an arena full of people finding solace in their shared vulnerabilities and realizing they were not alone in their hidden hurts. The members seemed to feed off this overwhelming wave of energy, pushing their vocals and movements to the absolute limit, pouring a raw, desperate energy into the arena that made the air feel thick and charged with electricity. As the song reached its emotional peak, the choreography grew more frantic and beautiful, mirroring the internal chaos of realizing a love was hollow. The staging itself felt cinematic, with shadows dancing against massive screens, capturing the sweat and determination on their faces as they executed the intricate choreography with a fierce, almost breathless precision. The transition into the final bridge was a masterclass in suspense, the music stripping away slightly to highlight the raw, aching vocals that soared into the Belgian night sky, leaving goosebumps on the skin of everyone present. In that exact moment, time seemed to stretch and warp, the outside world fading into complete irrelevance as the entire stadium existed solely within the confines of this heartbreaking masterpiece. The sheer stamina and emotional output demanded by the performance were staggering, yet there was no sign of fatigue, only a relentless, passionate drive to leave absolutely everything on that stage for the people who had traveled from all corners of Europe to be there. When the final, heavy beat of the track dropped and the members froze in their final, dramatic pose, a momentary hush fell over the crowd before a deafening roar of applause and cheers erupted, a sonic wave so powerful it felt like it could tear the roof off the world. The lights began to fade slowly into a warm twilight glow, capturing the heavy breathing of the performers and the tear-stained, euphoric smiles of the audience. No one wanted to break the spell that had just been cast, the lingering echoes of the melody still vibrating in the chest of every attendee. It was a definitive, unforgettable testament to the power of music to unite, heal, and completely overwhelm the human spirit, a night where Brussels became the epicenter of a global heartbeat, leaving an indelible mark on the souls of everyone who witnessed the raw, unfiltered beauty of that second day on tour. The echoing roar of the stadium did not simply dissipate, it lingered in the humid air like a living entity, vibrating against the concrete barriers and settling deep into the chests of the thousands who remained frozen in place. The transition from the final, devastating note of the song into the immediate aftermath was a collective awakening from a trance, a moment where reality rushed back in but felt permanently altered by what had just transpired. Looking across the standing section, people were gripping each other's hands, some staring at the empty spaces on stage where the shadows had just danced, completely unable to process the sheer scale of the emotional vulnerability they had just witnessed. It was in this precise atmosphere that the true weight of the Erorang World Tour made itself felt, proving that the second night in Brussels was not just a repeat of the first, but an escalation of a profound emotional journey that both the performers and the audience were navigating together. The lingering purple glow from the light sticks created a surreal landscape, a galaxy captured within four walls, where every point of light represented a personal story that had found its voice in the darkness. As the ambient music began to swell softly to transition into the next segment of the night, the palpable energy of the stadium shifted from a sharp, agonizing heartbreak into a warm, encompassing wave of mutual gratitude. The members stood momentarily in the fading mist, their shoulders rising and falling with heavy, exhausted breaths, yet their eyes scanned the vast expanse of the crowd with an intensity that felt incredibly personal, as if they were trying to look into the eyes of every single person reaching out to them from the barricades to the highest tiers. The sweat glistening on their faces under the soft house lights was a testament to the physical price paid to deliver a performance of such magnitude, a reminder that behind the flawless choreography and global fame lay a fierce, uncompromising human dedication. In those quiet, unscripted seconds between tracks, the boundary between idol and supporter completely dissolved, replaced by a profound, silent understanding that this fragile, beautiful moment in Belgium was a rare sanctuary for everyone present. The emotional tension in the arena remained taut, thick with unspoken feelings and a collective desire to hold on to the night for as long as possible. Fans could be heard shouting messages of love and support in a beautiful tapestry of different European languages, their voices rising above the low hum of the speakers, creating a chaotic yet harmonious symphony of devotion that seemed to visibly touch the performers on stage. It was a stark reminder of how a single piece of music, crafted thousands of miles away, could act as a universal anchor, pulling together diverse lives into a singular, breathtaking collective experience in the heart of Europe. The atmosphere was charged with a heavy, addictive nostalgia even as the night was still happening, a collective awareness that this specific night, this specific performance on day 2, would be talked about, remembered, and kept close to the heart for years to come, long after the lights finally went out and the stadium emptied into the quiet Brussels night.